Welcome to Transformation Week 2020, which is hosted by MediaCom. This is the third time that Transformation Week has taken place, and we are delighted that this year it has still been able to go ahead, albeit virtually. Never before has the theme of transformation seemed more relevant, and we really hope that you're able to take some useful learnings away from the session today. We are part of a great lineup this week, and we hope that you enjoy what the rest of the week has in store. Good morning, everyone, and hello from the third last day of relative freedom in the UK. I'm Louise Richardson, Director of Marketing for Europe at Pinterest, and I'm delighted to be joining you for MediaCom's Transformation Week. So, at the beginning of this year, there were many things I was excited about. This year was going to be a really good one for me. Hilarious, really, with hindsight. 2020 absolutely sucks. And instead of being in the lovely MediaCom bar with you all now, I'm stuck in my living room. The year started so positively too. At the beginning of January, I travelled to San Francisco to start my new job. I'd been what you might call a Pinterest fanatic for many years. It's the place I turn to daily for inspiration. And most importantly for me, for bringing that inspiration to life. Pinterest has helped me to do my job, raise my kids, style my hair, and build these bookcases that you can see behind me. But I have a confession to make. In 2019, when Pinterest Recruitment reached out to me about a new European role, I had never actually thought of Pinterest as a place for advertising. Now, to make it clear, I am a person who has used Pinterest daily for years. I've pinned thousands of ideas to hundreds of boards. And the vast majority of these ideas, I realized they're from brands. I have discovered and purchased products across multiple categories, including home, beauty, fashion, food. I've planned holidays, I've decorated my house at Christmas, all based on Pinterest trends and searches. But I had never seen Pinterest as an ads platform, precisely because, and forgive me a bit for being a bit salesy here, but precisely because it is such a good ads platform. You see, mainstream social media advertising dominates our industry's narrative. We invest our time, our talent, and our budgets in platforms that try to monetize the spaces in between content from friends, content from celebrities, news, UGC, etc., etc. Not so on Pinterest. People come to Pinterest to find new stuff, and brands sell the stuff. It was so clear and so simple. My interests as a pinner, I realized, and the interests of advertisers are perfectly aligned. Let's face it, the months since I had this epiphany during my recruitment process and started this amazing new job have been anything but clear or simple. It's been a year of protests, politics, and pandemics. It's led to frustration, a disconnection from society, and extremists airing their grievances on digital platforms. No one has been immune from this. But actually, at Pinterest, we started to see some good news emerging, even far back in the crisis as March and April. Even as most of the world was at the stockpiling loo roll or drunk crying during family Zoom quizzes stage of the pandemic, our search data began to show pinners emerging from the negativity of their offline and social media worlds, turning to Pinterest as a place to plan for recovery and rebuilding. One of the lovely bits of good news our data showed us was just how early people started to plan for the future, even as we weren't really sure what that future would look like. Take Christmas, for example. Our clients might still all be in a tears about how on earth to plan for Christmas this year, especially with the news that we received this weekend about a further lockdown, but real people have been planning for months. On this chart, the red line shows Christmas-related searches from 2019 on Google, and the blue line shows Pinterest search data. You can see searches relating to Christmas spiking in June and July on Pinterest in 2019. By comparison, Christmas searches on Google don't really take off till December. So we know people have always come to Pinterest early to plan for the holidays, months before those searches would typically show up in other search environments. But now look at 2020. The early Christmas planning trend accelerated hugely in the pandemic. Christmas searches on Pinterest started spiking in April. I mean, I really do love Christmas, but now I feel I'm way behind on planning. Of course, some of the increases we saw during the first lockdown weren't really surprising. Workouts, home interiors, social distancing parties, for example. But to draw your attention to one of these, inspirational quotes positive, that was up 160% year over year in the beginning stages of the pandemic. Searches and interest in positivity on our platform have jumped nearly 65% since this time last year, reaching their highest levels in Pinterest history. Pinterest has always been a more positive place online. Since the pandemic began, that's only become more true. And in the last 6 months, pinner engagement has gone through the roof. 442 million users now come to Pinterest every month, and this represents a 39% increase in users year on year. Now, if social media has taught us one thing, it's that unfiltered content drives negativity. Without intentional moderation, platforms built on connecting people have, in the end, only polarized them. And here's the thing. Anger and divisiveness might encourage people to scroll and troll, but anger and divisiveness don't get people to buy. Negative environments make people less likely to remember, less likely to trust, and less likely to purchase from brands. So when we saw this spike in pandemic positivity, as we started calling it internally, we commissioned YouGov to help us understand how positivity functions in online spaces. The research suggests showing up in a more positive environment online drives impact at every stage of the path to purchase. Pinners told us that positivity influences their behaviour throughout the funnel, from awareness and sentiment to trust and purchase. People are more likely to try out new products and experiences in positive spaces. Mindset matters, as this pinner told us during our qual research. And he said, I've been trying to increase the number of positive accounts or pages that I see online. With positive social media, I am more likely to try out new products, experiences. The research shows us that positive online environments have a halo effect on the brands that show up there, from awareness and sentiment to trust and purchase. 6 in 10 consumers agree that they are more likely to remember brands they encounter online when they feel positive towards brands they encounter in positive environments, trust brands that they see in a positive space, and perhaps most importantly for most of us on this call, 6 in 10 consumers are compelled to purchase a brand when they see it in a positive media context. And they're making deliberate choices about their online emotional health. I think we might all really identify with this pinner when she said, I have no tolerance for negativity online. Before, when I wasn't so deliberate about my mental health, it didn't occur to me that I wasn't obligated to be subjected to this negativity. I would take it in because at the time I felt like I didn't have a choice. Our research showed us people are craving a different kind of online experience. 60% of adults surveyed agreed that some parts of the internet feel dark and scary these days, particularly where people are fighting or arguing over their beliefs, and they're scared it's going to intensify. And, which is the scary part for everyone here, they are holding brands accountable. More than ever before, consumers understand the role brands play in the online media ecosystem. Consumers in 2020 want a more inspired internet, and they're seeking out positivity in online spaces. 70% of consumers will forever hold brands accountable for how they show up during this year of crisis. And Just as mindset matters, so does context. In the offline world, we as marketers pay really close attention to where our brands turn up. Think of the consideration clients pay to the geographical context of their out of home or the editorial context of their print ads. Our research showed that gone are the days when consumers will turn a blind eye to negative neighbouring content. In a post-COVID world, the context in which a brand appears online really matters. And this came up time and time again in our qual groups, as this pinner says, when I see brands in negative and unsafe places, I start to lose my confidence and my trust in them that they come from a good place. As a result, I would be less likely to purchase from them. The striking thing about this research is that as agency folk who understand the impact of harmful content on our clients' reputation, we already know this stuff. And yet every day we unwittingly invest in contexts that imply our clients' endorsement of negative content, that negatively impacts people's perceptions of our clients' brands, that makes our clients less trustworthy in the eye of their audiences. Now, I know I did promise good news in this, but there are so many more challenges to come over the next few months. The US elections tomorrow, anti-maskers and anti-vaxxers on the rampage, Brexit, a new lockdown starting on Thursday. Toxic topics will saturate the online space unless those spaces are, by design, set up to protect users from negative and misleading content. And that by design thing is really important. I really want you to think about by design. Positivity needs to be built into online environments from the beginning. You cannot have a positive platform without proactive content policies. Now, we have always had a zero tolerance policy when it comes to harmful content, and we go the extra mile to ensure it has no home on our platform. We have industry-leading positions on content safety. We invest heavily in measures like machine learning technology to maintain platform safety. And if there's a search term that we've determined presents a risk, we'll prevent clients' ads from appearing alongside it. And this is because we believe that freedom of speech isn't freedom of reach. Tech platforms have a responsibility to deliberately and consciously engineer a place where positivity is built in. Not only does this protect users from harmful content, it also provides a safe space for brands to appear. And in Pinterest's case, it provides a space to align with the mindset of 442 million pinners finding inspiration to lead lives they love. And we're not the only ones saying it. Forbes magazine recently called us the absolute leader in being a responsible platform in terms of protecting users, the public, and again, for our audience here today, the interests of advertisers. In a post-COVID world, the majority of adults agree that it's a brand's responsibility to advertise in safe, positive places. And to be a bit salesy again, advertisers do agree that that place is Pinterest. 92% of Pinterest advertisers surveyed ranked us first on overall reputation amongst 8 leading platforms. And significantly, we were nearly 20 points above the nearest competitor. It really does pay to be positive, and in how early our clients' brands show up for the moments that matter, in how we can make deliberate choices about our mental health online, how we can help our clients' brands show up in positive places offline and online. So it's really not all bad, a message we all need going into the next few weeks. Thank you so much for your time today. And if you'll need us, we'll be here putting the finishing touches to the Christmas decorating. We clearly all started in April. Thank you all. We do have some time for questions. If anyone wants to put anything in the chat, in the questions chat, we will hang on for a couple of minutes to see if anything comes up. Okay, well, it doesn't look like we've got any questions, which is fantastic. So thank you all. Have a great Monday. Enjoy the next few days before Thursday reality hits, and hope to see you all in person very, very soon.